हो जनाब अली सैयद को कि वो आएँ और मनखबत पेश करें।
Respected Peter Murshid, President of MICC, elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. सजदे में सर झुका के उठाएं न फिर हुसैन, सजदे में सर झुका के उठाएं न फिर हुसैन, सजदा फिर इसके बाद अदा हो सका यूं। मत या हुसैन ऐसा है तुम्हारा, मत या हुसैन ऐसा है तुम्हारा, इस्लाम को बचा लिया देख के अब न हो। इशाक से चले सरे मख्तल न पूछिए, इशाक से चले सरे मख्तल न पूछिए, अल्लाह रे सर फिरोश का देखे कोई जुनून। तुमको हुसैन राह फना में बखा मिली, तुमको हुसैन राह फना में बखा मिली, अब इसके आगे शान में मैं उनकी क्या कहूँ। जिंदा रहेगा नाम सदा आपका हुसैन, जिंदा रहेगा नाम सदा आपका हुसैन, हाँ हाथलों को आज भी मिलता नहीं सुकून। या रब मुझ अली को भी तौफीक अता हो, या रब मुझ अली को भी तौफीक अता हो, नक्शे कदम पे मैं भी सदा उनकी ही चलूँ।
और मैं बुलाऊंगा ईसा सैयद को अब आएँ और अपनी तकरीर पेश करें।
Respected Peter Murshid, President of MICC, elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Hussain is of me and I am of Hussain. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to carry Imam Hussain and Imam Hussain in his arms and declare in front of his companions, "O God, I love them and love those who love them." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam expressed his deeply felt love for Imam Hussain and Imam Hussain in these words, "These two sons of mine are two plants of sweet basil in the world. Whoever loves Hassan and Hussain, then he loves me, and whoever dislikes them, he dislikes me." Also said that both Hassan and Hussain are the chiefs of the youth of paradise. Imam Hussain alayhi salam was a living image of his grandfather Rasulullah. He had inherited all the divine qualities of his grandfather Rasulullah and his divine parents Hazrat Ali and Bibi Fatima. After the death of Hazrat Muawiyah, Yazid succeeded his father to the throne. Yazid knew fully well that he could have no fear from anyone except Imam Hussain. Hence, along with demanding oath of allegiance and obedience from Imam Hussain, he also threatened him that if he did not take the oath of allegiance, he would not remain alive. Imam Hussain alayhi salam replied, "By Allah, I cannot accept the disgrace of Yazid's allegiance. Rather, it is like honorable death in the way of Allah to establish his dawah by the way of Shohadah. Death with honor is better than a life of humiliation." Imam Hussain left Makkah on the 8th of Zilhajj and proceeded towards Kufa with his whole caravan. At Sharaf, the Imam set camp and asked his children to resupply with water and carry more water than they needed. Commander Hur came with his message from Ubaidullah, governor of Kufa, to prevent Imam Hussain from returning to Medina or capture him and bring him to Kufa. By the time they met Imam Hussein's caravan, Hur and his troops had run out of water and were nearly dying of thirst. When the Imam saw that the army of Hur was thirsty, he asked his followers to give them and their horses water. Imam Hussain reached on Karbala on the 2nd of Moharam. Son of Saad, the commander, demanded allegiance on behalf of Yazid. Imam Hussain firmly refused to pay the allegiance, saying, "Tell Yazid to tempt with the worldly comfort to those who are after this world. I am the Imam, the representative of Rasulullah. I shall never yield to one who believes not in Allah and who defied the word of Allah, in word and deed, and who spread godliness on earth. Let calamity befall on me and my dear ones, and the will of Allah shall be followed." Hussain will cheerfully meet any catastrophe, but never surrender truth to falsehood. At last, on 7th Moharam, the commander of Yazid's forces received order to cut off all sources of supply to Imam Hussein's camp. While the hungry and thirsty devotees of Allah in Imam Hussein's camp spent the night in prayers and zikrullah, the soldiers in the opposite camp spent the whole night in drinking, feasting, and making merry in the hope of the promised rewards from Yazid in return for the destruction of the family of Rasulullah. Hur remembered how kind Imam Hussain was when he needed water. Hur with his son and a slave came to Imam Hussein's camp with tears in his eyes and begged pardon for the wrong he had done. Hur was received very warmly by Imam Hussain. Hur was the first one who went out into the field against the enemy and laid down his life. Thus, the battle of truth against falsehood began. One after another from Imam Hussein's camp went into the field and laid down their life, after exhibiting wonderful bravery and courage. It looked as if thirst, hunger, heat, and the wounds had no effect on whatsoever the patience, the strength, and the determination of Imam Hussein's devotees. One by one, the brave companions of Imam Hussein fell on the battlefield. Owen, Muhammad, Qasim, Abbas, Ali Akbar, to name a few. Having lost every one of his faithful comrades, including his baby son, Ali Asghar, himself fully wounded from head to toe, after fighting courageously, Imam Hussein returned his sword back into the case so he could prepare for Asr prayer. Shimr, the stone-hearted brute, cut off the head of Imam Hussein while he was in sajda. Imam Hussein laid down his life in order to revive Islamic traditions, Islamic laws, and regulations. He taught us not to follow the false path no matter what we have to sacrifice for it. دید کی گر تلاش ہے سر کو جھکا نماز میں دید کی گر تلاش ہے سر کو جھکا نماز میں دل سے خودی کو دور کر خود کو مٹا نماز میں دل سے خودی کو دور کر خود کو مٹا نماز میں آئے گا تجھ پہ تب نظر روح خدا نماز میں آئے گا تجھ پہ تب نظر روح خدا نماز میں پہلے حسین کی طرح سر کو کٹا نماز میں. And at last I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, innahum hadi al-ma'ud, qad ja'a maza, wa akhira da'wana, alhamdulillah, rabbil alamin.
یہ دونوں بچے بہت خوش قسمت ہیں کہ ان کو ان کے نانا محترم پرویز عید اللہ مہدی صاحب کی سرپرستی حاصل ہے اور ان کی موجودگی میں بچے سیکھ رہے ہیں. خوشی کی بات ہے اور آگے چل کے یہ ہماری انجمن کے لیے بھی بہت کام آئیں گے. اور میں